Hello, it's Big Cheds, and this is the Trading Encyclopedia daily education series on my YouTube at Cheds Trading. You can find me on Twitter at Big Cheds and Bitcoin Live, where I am a founding analyst. For today's lesson, we're going to talk about the island top or island reversal. So an island top, I'll show you an image here. You have an exhaustion gap and then a breakdown gap, and it talks about that here. Exhaustion gap and then breakaway gap because it's a breakdown gap. And really, you have a gap, which is a window in candlestick theory or a gap in classical charting where you have a close and then the open and no shares are traded in between. And you see with the wicks, there's nothing in between these wicks. Really, the gap's up here, creating the open gap. And then here's the wick, but it closes down, creating the price gap. Now, sometimes the gap will fill with the wicks. That's why the wicks are shown here to show this channel. Like, for example, here's an island top, right? You have the move up, and you have this nice breakout. There should be a breakaway gap. It's breaking away from resistance. And then all of a sudden, the price stalls and a breakdown. Price comes back, and price actually closed the gap, right? So this second window, this is actually a pretty textbook short setup, but this one closed the window and now has a chance to roll down on the failed breakout. This is an example of an island top, and then it actually closed the gap, and it's likely to continue down. But this is a bearish reversal pattern. I have videos on the island top and bottom, and this is specifically on the top. But generally, it's just the idea that the trend has become overextended, right? Bulls have advanced. Bulls have tried to continue, but with that nice gap up, there should be some momentum following through from that. But bulls were unable to hold those gains, and then you have the gap down. And this with the gap filling is also something to take note of. I have other videos specifically on gaps, but this is resistance, right? The entire gap is a resistance, and especially the top of the window or top of the gap, hit that, and it's heading down. So for an island top, right, you want to pay attention to, and here it talks about how many trading sessions. It really just depends on the time frame you're looking at. Trading sessions, 4-hour daily close. The one thing you want to keep in mind on is some of these indexes have a lot of gaps. There's not as many gaps here, but some things. I was looking earlier, for example, at this Japan ETF, which was EWJ. There it is, EWJ. This has a lot of gaps, right? So you have a lot of gaps here because of how it opens and closes. You get a lot of island tops. But this one actually, here's an island top. Instead of filling and rejecting, it continued higher, right? It's done this many times before, and you have another one here, another island top. Now, this one hasn't quite attempted to fill the gap and to continue yet, but this is perhaps not as strong a signal for an island top because, first of all, you've had them before where the price has continued, right? Even here, island top, right? Gap, and then gap down, and it comes up. Filled the gap, and then it continued higher. But you have a lot of open and close disparity. So you have a lot of gaps here, so you're going to get more islands. So you should pay attention to stocks that don't, or indices that normally open and close, at the same place and don't have as many gaps. And when you get an island, like in this chart right here, normal price consolidation, and then you have the gap up. So when you get gaps in a chart where you don't normally have a gap, pay attention to this potential island reversal. This is Island Top for the Trading Encyclopedia Daily Education Series on my YouTube at Cheds Trading. Find me on Twitter at Big Cheds and Bitcoin Live, where I am a founding analyst. Folks, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Big Cheds out.